You are never too young to play at Georgia, and I'll tell you what, if Malachi Starks doesn't prove that, and to some degree Jacob Eason and Jake Fromm and all these other players that you think of, I don't know what is. This is one thing that Kirby said earlier this week about the situation in the program. He said we've proven that you can play as a true freshman and be successful in our defense. So it's not too much to learn, like some people say and try to use us. I guess it's in recruiting, you guys. I threw in the you guys. We had a kid, Malachi Starks, that walked in and played every single game at safety from a true freshman perspective. Yeah, I mean, he had Christopher Smith helping him, but if you want to say that, maybe Malachi was helping Chris. I don't know, but if you're good enough, you're gonna play, and that goes for There's a lot of players that played a lot of downs for Georgia last year that were really good. Starks, Williams, Brock Bowers 2 years ago, Branson Robinson to some degree, Oscar Delp. I mean, they've had some players come in and play early, and I think in talking with people around the league, okay, the thing that they say that Kirby does the best is they don't make it too complicated. And by the time guys are playing, they know exactly what to do. There's no confusion. I don't think they're saying that they simplify it or they keep it simple. They teach it. And from that point forward, once you know the nomenclature and once you know whatever whack job word that they come up with means for a particular coverage or whatever, then you can play. Once you're not thinking about stuff, you can go do what you're naturally good at or what you've been taught to be good at. And I think, Malachi Starks is the real deal, period. I can just do the whole video on Malachi. I mean, this guy is polished. I remember meeting him as a junior in high school, and he was polished then. He is someone I think who was grounded. Okay, that's the way I'll put it, and I'll leave it there for now. But he is an example of what you can do. Now, he's not the only one. We've seen guys, Brock Bowers is one example, Jake Fromm, to some degree, Jacob Eason, but definitely there are younger players, DeAndre Swift, to some degree, George Pickens, that can come in and play quick. On defense, the challenge lately has been there are so many good players that it's going to be hard to come in and really. Marvin Jones Jr. is good. He's really good. Williams is really good. There are some really good players who are on this team. Jalen Walker is going to be really good. Obviously, Malachi played last year. They've got some really good defensive play. This Matt DeBerry would tell you that this defensive haul that they brought in this past season, this past recruiting cycle, is as good as you're going to get. I'll tell you what, I've got an offer that's as good as you're going to get. Okay? If you sign up for Dog Post, the website right down below, I'm going to send you this 2023 preview for free. I am also going to get the folks at Red Zone to send you a t-shirt for free. They are also giving you 20% off any item in the store on the online store. You can pick this up. Now, this is, I would say, limited time because I don't know how much longer Georgia's only going to have 4 national championships that they claim. They should claim all of them, but whatever. And same thing with this Vince Dooley hat, okay? All of these things can be yours if you sign up below and take advantage of this deal. If you bought the magazine in the past, if you bought Double Dogs, you are going to get September for free, but you can't get it for free if you don't sign up for August right down below. Make sure you're taking advantage of this now. Take advantage of this now. So Smile London and Javon Dumas Johnson, they played as in 2021, but it was N'Kobe and Quay Walker and everybody else in the world that was playing there. There were a lot of really good players. Keely Ringo was injured his first year, and then he made the play of the century for Georgia, if not biggest play ever, when he took Bryce Young's ball back to the house. But they have had really good players. Dan Jackson is an example of guys who are not guys who are not coveted who can be really good players for Georgia. You don't have to be old and experienced. The problem is that there are a lot of old and experienced players. Zion Logue's not just going to come out of the game. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Trayvon Walker, he played a lot when he was young. Jordan Davis did too. Once he got right physically, which was about October, look at this guy. Look at that guy. Would you want to stop? I really don't. I don't know how Charleston Southern stopped it other than the fact there was a giant pile in front of him. But, you can make Jalen Carter, although Jalen did not play a lot of downs early. It was Nolan and Trayvon. I mean, they're going to put you on the field. They don't care how old you are. They care how good you are. That's really important. I think, generally speaking, I remember one time Mike Bobo told me a story about Noshawn Moreno and Matthew Stafford. Mark Richt wanted a redshirt Matthew. And in 2006, I don't know, I could sort of understand where Mark was coming from if you saw Matthew at the beginning of that thing. But he needed to play, and he needed to become what he was going to be in 07 and 08. A lot of these guys on Georgia's defense are going to be NFL football players. They just are. I mean, Zion Logue's going to play in the NFL. Warren Brinson, Stackhouse. I mean, these guys are going to get Trayvon Walthour. These guys are all going to get their shot in the league. Now, are they going to be first-round guys? It doesn't look like it, but you don't have to be a first-round guy to be, successful necessarily. George Pickens, great example. N'Kobe. And we'll see what happens with guys like Keeley and Christopher Smith. But I think the biggest thing with Georgia's defenders specifically is, man, those guys are pretty smart people, I would say. They are very disciplined on the field, for sure. And I think they are prepared. They are prepared for sure, no doubt about that part. But they take advantage of their gifts. They do what needs to be done to be successful. They learn what is being taught to them. People say they learn the system. Okay, that if you want to use that verbiage, but they also learn how they have to work. Like, this isn't just something that happens. Like, you're gonna have to work to get onto the field. And then when you get on the field, you got to be successful to stay on the field, because there are people coming for your job. There just are. I mean, look at that. You can't see the board, and I'm not going to turn it. But, like, you don't think that Mondon and Dumas Johnson can't feel Sorey coming behind? Those guys are really good linebackers, have played really good. So I think Smile Mondon could be a top, a first-round guy. We'll see. But Sorey could too. I mean, in theory, just because you're not starting as a sophomore or a sophomore, doesn't mean you're not going to be a first-round draft pick. Quay Walker or Devontae or, I guess Trayvon. I can't remember if Trayvon started his sophomore year or not. But anyway, I gave you two others. So, one at that particular position. This is the best incubator for defensive players to go to the NFL in the country. There are other places that are really good. Clemson has been really good. They're not as good. Alabama has been really good. They are going to be pretty good this year. They've been better in the past. I think certain places, Wisconsin does a decent job. Mississippi State does a pretty good job, actually, with guys. But Georgia's the best all around. I mean, when you think about Lewis Cine, first round. Devontae, first round. Trayvon, number 1 overall. And then at linebacker, Quay Walker. So every level, not every position, but every level of the defense has had a first-round draft pick. That is amazing. That just doesn't... What separated what has separated Kirby's time from Mark's time has been the big men, the offensive linemen as well as the defensive linemen. That has been what separated, and that's what separated Georgia from everybody else right now in college football. Georgia's big men are straight up elite all across the board. All 30-ish of them, however many there are. What is that? Well, 28. Okay. And that's rough math. That's not including tight ends. So that 30-ish group of guys, they are elite, and they're fighting each other every single day. I'm sure it's not fun, but it is what it is. And that's why this program's so successful, is they have players who are elite, who are going up against one another every single day.